There we go. Sweet. Emma, how's your Sunday going?
It's going really good. We took a personal day from church today, so we stayed home and took the boys out to the beach. So we've already got some sunlight in our life, and so now we're home and ready to rock and roll with you.
And you're in Alaska, right?
No, I'm in California.
California? Okay,
California,
so you're
yeah.
in
Douchebag,
EST.
you should know this. I talked to her about you, by the way, Rock. I was
I talk to
forgetful, all
100
right?
fucking people a week, Johnny, and you're
I
you're
know,
like 80.
right?
Johnny, you're like 87 of those calls.
Hey, yeah, stop.
Well, at least we got the right coast, right? I mean, Alaska travel down to California versus if you would
Don't,
have said it was
no,
New
no,
York.
no, no, don't, no.
No mercy, no mercy.
Yeah, it's not worth it for him. No.
Oh, boo-hoo. Somebody just sent me their email. I'm guessing that's for the recording. He didn't specify, but
We all need
cool.
to get your motion calendar, sir. If you could, link it below, chat.
I'm scared to put it in the chat because you're just gonna post it everywhere.
I'm not, buddy. I'm not. I would not. I'm mature. Okay.
Debatable, but whatever works.
Emma, ask for his calendar or motion. We need it,
At the end of the meeting, you have to share it. This whole conversation is about networking, okay? Everybody's gonna have to share theirs.
right? Oh, I don't have one. I've been banned from it.
Well,
You've been banned.
do you have a Blink? Do you have a Calendly? I mean, you have a Facebook? I mean, you're gonna have to share something.
Nah, I'm that guy. I'm just that guy in the background.
Well, I'm gonna be the bean one and put your wife's information in here.
Oh, that's
I hope
fine. You
you
can put
do.
her. Yeah, I hope you do too. Wait, this is recorded. Never mind. Don't do that. Get me off.
I, I'm gonna make sure Johnny goes straight to jail for that one.
Right.
Or get punched in the throat.
At
Jeez.
least.
You're gonna get throat punched for that one. I can almost guarantee it.
She'll enjoy it, okay? She'll totally enjoy it. And I get to play more video games.
You'll live. That's why Van's my favorite because she listens to me. I'll just be like, "Hey Van, you should just bonk him on the head," and she will.
Yeah.
Long sigh. I just came.
There, he did
Well,
it. He put it in.
yep. I was gonna say just to appease Johnny, my motion link is in there. So anybody that wants to book a 30-minute phone call after this definitely can.
Yay. Snapshot. Oh, this is great. Conveyor belt.
Just gonna...
Okay, choo choo. All right, choo choo squad up.
Emma, just think you live closer to him than I do.
Oh, I know. I love it.
No,
I love
wait.
All right. Cool, Emma. Well, you want us to just kick this off since we got
Yeah, sounds
people just
good.
kind of rolling in?
Yeah, let's do it. So
You
my
want to
name
start
is
with
Emma Duncan,
yeah.
and Adam, you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'm Adam. I joined Sub 2 about 60 days ago. I'm a connector and an integrator. I connect with people really well. That's the whole reason for this. Emma and I had a really good chat about a week ago when it came to networking. Because you went to, it was Ashley, wasn't it? Ashley
Mm-hmm.
Madison in the group. And she was like, all you have to do is get in front of, what, about 150 people, I believe is what she told you?
100. Well, my goal was having 30 individuals within the subject community that saw me as their TC. And she said that in order to do that, I needed to talk to 100 individuals.
Yeah, so she gave you the basic 10-3-1
Yeah.
kind of breakdown. Like if you talk to 10 people, you should be able to get three conversations. Now there's three conversations, you should be able to get one deal,
Yeah.
which is a pretty standard sales breakdown.
Right.
How has that been going for you so far, Emma? Where are you at with the 100 people?
Yeah, I've reached out in some form of capacity to probably 170 individuals, and I've had at least 70 conversations out of that I've been able to track and make a follow-up plan to stay connected with them. And this started in make sure everybody's muted. This started in January, the second week of January. So here we are in March, and that's been my goal so far.
And how long so you said since March? Is that you had 170 conversations since January?
Mm-hmm.
You had 170 conversations since January?
Yeah, what I'm tracking is the number of people that I've reached out to. Just like when you're cold calling, right? You're making those calls, but like you said, so many people do not pick up versus do pick up. And it's the same with being like a transactional coordinator. I'm reaching out to the community and it's just silent for a certain percentage of people. I don't hear anything back at all. So I don't know if they don't check their emails, if they don't check their Facebook, whatever the communication device that I used to reach out to them. Maybe they're not an individual that's on that platform. And so I take that into consideration. But then I also take into consideration that they don't want a TC, they don't want an integrator, or they already have somebody in their life and they just don't have the time to get back to me. And so all those factor into the number of people that are going to reach out to me and say, hey, let's actually schedule a call, or let's follow up. This is what I need. And so 170 individuals I have reached out to, and over 70 of those have been actual conversations on the phone or on a Zoom call.
Okay, yeah, so you're running pretty good KPIs on this. It sounds like you're getting in touch with a bunch of them, and you're getting them on your calendar and booking the calls. Because I believe that was how you and I connected, right? With family night.
Yes.
Like I found your phone number, which is in your name, and I texted you and I said, "Hey Emma, we should have a chat." And you and I got on each other's. I was on your calendar, and we had a good chat. We probably talked for like an hour and a half, and it was just that, right? It was just back and forth. It was, what do you have? What do you need? What do you have? What do you need? Like, how can I best serve you?
Exactly.
And you told me something specific on the call. You remember what it was?
Well, I mean, I can go over my process that I have. So I don't know if it was something regarding that, or if you're hitting a particular point in our conversation.
A particular point, because
Please
you
share.
kind of looked at, you were like, you're probably the first person in the community that I talked to that doesn't really like need anything, right?
Right.
And that goes to speak to how I showed up to our meeting.
Right.
I wasn't like, hey Emma, guess what? I needed. I'm just running a mile a minute. I took my time. I got to know who you are. What do you have? What do you need? And by the end of it, you were like, wait a minute, what do you need?
Exactly. Yeah.
And do you remember what I told you?
I mean, the exact words, no, I don't remember the exact words. I know that we were talking about how you're an integrator and you needed to just continue to be connected, but I don't remember your exact words.
The end all be all was pay the fee, right?
Yeah.
That's the end. At the end of the day, if you provide enough value, like I asked Emma, I said, I don't really need anything per se. I said, however, I want to be your go-to. I want to be, if you know somebody that needs a connector, you know somebody that needs an integrator, these are the things that we're doing. And I want to be your trusted person.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. And that's kind of been my approach as well as a TC and as an integrator, right? That when I finish a phone call, it usually is, I know you may not need a TC right now, but if you have any questions regarding paperwork or processes at any point, give me a call or a text. I'm just a phone call away. Like, I'm here for you and I want to help. So even if you don't hire me on as a TC, but you have a question, that's what I'm here for, right?
Yeah, it's you're there to provide value. Like I haven't texted you a single question about being a TC,
Exactly.
but you and I have still texted back and forth about whatever else we're doing in real estate or however else we can help, or we could riff on integrator ideas or what have you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I love how our conversation went. It was one of a kind. I haven't had a conversation like that yet, and out of all those conversations that I have had, right? Finding somebody that is an integrator, primarily, like that's who you are, and you know that's who you are, and so you're coming into this space, staying in your lane, right? That I know that's one of the things we talked
Hmm.
about. How I knew coming into sub two that I was an integrator and a TC. Like that is my project management background coming into play, and so I stuck in my lane, and it's the same for you. When you came in, you knew exactly what you were. And so when there's this pool of, oh, just go out and wholesale, 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 we were able to say, no, that's not who we are. We know what we contribute to our community and how we can add value, and we're not going to need that shift to find our spot.
Yeah, like a teacher of mine used to say, we put the X on it. We were just like, nope,
Yeah.
I'm not. I'm, and I guess I'll speak to that a little bit. So I had a background in business. I had no background in real estate whatsoever before sub two. I just went hard in the paint on all the courses and I started going through them. I made it through underwriting, I made it through PACE method and zero down because I'm really
Yeah.
interested in buying businesses. So I knew though from having the business background, having done a whole lot of different things, having different jobs, different industries, you start to see commonalities and common patterns. And the way that I can best help other people find their avatar is your gifts are not in the avatar itself. Your gifts are in the activities that you're doing, right?
Yes.
Like, I guess Emma, speak to that a little bit. What did you see in the TC role that you were like, this really speaks to me and my strengths?
Yeah. So my background is going into a place, learning the process, seeing why it's having a breakdown, why the flow isn't there, and then making those changes to the process in the system to increase productivity and communication. Um, then training everyone and bowing out, moving on to the next place. And so as a TC, that is a lot of what we do. We know the processes. As an integrator, especially, we know processes. We know how to put them in place. And I'm one of those individuals that I don't shy away from paperwork. I like paperwork. I like tracking communication. I like putting things into the CRM to make sure that it gets from point A to point B, right? So knowing that about myself, knowing that that's my experience from my W-2 before I walked away from it, um, I that lends itself 100% to a TC and an integrator.
Yeah, so you knew that going in, right? So when
Mhm.
everybody was like, "Well, Emma, just start cold calling."
Yeah.
Hey, Emma,
No, thank
Emma,
you.
go door knock.
Right, right. No, 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 thank you. No, thank you. I will sit here and I will make the calls, but it will be to you, to the people in our community, to see what you need and how I can help you. Not, I'm not going to do the cold calling and door knocking to the strangers on the, in the neighborhood.
Yeah, well, that's half the battle is getting past the advice of like, you should just do wholesale.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. I've met so many people that when they first came into the community, they either felt pressured to do that or they did do that, and they a few months into it they realized that they were feeling burnt out because they were not finding their place. So it's okay if that's not you. There are places in our community, right, that you can fit in, and you just need to evaluate yourself and have more of these networking conversations to see what other people are doing so that you can find your lane. And I talked to Mel Palmer before she started rolling out all of the stuff over the last several months, and she started out as a TC. And so when I came into sub two, I purposefully connected with TCs that were already in the community, and she was one of them. And she told me that being a TC was not her jam. Like that was not who she was. She was good at it, but she was, because she was in the community and she was doing the paperwork and the processes, she was able to find her lane and actually create a whole new lane. Nobody was doing the due diligence, right? And so She took time to reflect on who she was, what she was liking, what she wasn't liking, and she created her own path.
Right, like, I really liked your description of the TC role and how you see it because all those are all things that I enjoy, and for probably about a week, I thought I was like, "I could be a TC,"
Yeah.
but right, I realized really quickly because I remembered, I was like, "Man, I really hate paper.
Yeah.
It is not my jam. I'd much rather be, out and about, like, in the field doing stuff." I'd not to say I'd rather cold call than do the paperwork, but like
Yeah.
there were other things that were better and higher uses of my time, and so I decided not to go into that role.
Yeah. 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 That's so true. That's a good thing that you did, right? Because otherwise you could have been one of those TCs that are burned out and are like, nope, not for me. I'm frustrated. I need to find something else to do.
Yeah, and a lot of times you and I probably end up talking to those burnt out TCs, and they're
We
like,
do.
"Well, I thought I was this, but now I'm reevaluating everything, right? Like every decision they've made since they joined the community because they have no idea where they fit."
Yep. Yeah. It's so true. 100%. And you know what? I will say this as a new business owner and a TC, it's taken longer to build the clientele than I expected, right? Just like anybody else in this community that is starting out and it's taking them a hard time to get that first sub two deal or get that first seller finance deal and they're getting frustrated. But because I know my lane and because I enjoy what I do, it makes that struggle easier. Does that make sense? Where it's like, okay, like I can handle being frustrated or being um surprised that the money isn't coming in as quickly as I thought it would, right? Pace does such a great job at being a salesperson that sometimes um we we conceptualize and visualize what he is saying and we think it's going to be like that, right? But it's a process. It takes time to get to where you need to go so that you can thrive as a new business owner. We each are new. I just want to say that right now. You each have your own business out here, right? We're in a community, but each one of us have our own business that we're starting from scratch. And remember how much work that's going to take work, right? Um, and so knowing what I enjoy, knowing that I like paperwork processes, networking with individuals, learning about new CRMs, it keeps my life full enough to live through the struggle.
Yeah, you have to
I heard
enjoy.
that. Corn. How's the old corned beef?
Andrew's talking.
Oh,
I'm muting for now, and we'll do questions here probably in like 25 minutes or so. And if anybody wants to hang out after the hour, I'll keep the meeting open for a while afterwards until all questions are answered. Or if y'all just want to hang out and shoot the shit or do whatever, we can do that too.
Adam, can we pivot and talk about like how I track these phone calls and how I find the individuals that I want to talk to in our community?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll make one quick point, and
Yeah.
that's just that like you have to find what you're good at.
Yes.
And you can't just like you can monetize anything, guys. I'm telling you, I have seen the wildest entrepreneur stories out there in the real world. People are making, the craziest things and they're finding ways to make money. And it comes down to more or less like what are you good at and what do you enjoy and where those two things intersect,
Yes.
right? And so for me, like that was kind of the connector role because I do really good with networking with people in the community. So I'm just on the phone, just talking shit to people all day long. Like I'm
Yeah.
making them laugh. We're cutting up. Like Emma, how many times we had some good
Oh, we
laughs on
laugh
our
so
call
much. Oh my goodness. Yes.
for the whole hour and a half. We were just being stupid because we
Yeah.
could. We had the time and whatever. And you had another call to roll into. And so I would say really find those two things. If you can find what you're good at and what you enjoy and you can make them intersect, like Emma was saying, you're gonna have hard days regardless of what you're doing or what your business is. The idea is to make those hard days bearable, and
Yes.
the only way that they're bearable is if you're either really good at it and you're making good money doing it, or if you really enjoy it, or both.
Right. Yes, absolutely. That's
So
better synopsis of what I was getting at. Thank you.
But yeah, please tell me all about your calls, how you're tracking them, kind of what KPIs you're looking for.
Yeah, absolutely. So as a TC, I know what avatar I am. I know where my role is, but that conversation you were reflecting on with Ashley Mason, she said, yeah, as a TC, you can do any transaction. You've been educated and trained, and you have the top tier community behind you to help you with anything that comes up here new on. But it's not finding your nuance. So just like a wholesaler has to go, am I doing DTA or DTS, right? You have to pick which one you want to focus on. She told me I needed to pick who in the community I wanted to focus on reaching out to. So what I did is I said, well, the majority of the people that are reaching out to me right now are the lenders, the gators, the private money lenders, the private money partners. And I felt like they were the ones picking me. And so I told her that's who I'm going to focus on. So that gave me my parameters, right? And every time I go into a sub 2 live Zoom, I look for individuals. I pull up that, the participants, right? While I'm listening, I pull up those participants and I go through, and anybody that has Gator, PMP, PML in their name, or anybody that's in the chat saying that they fall underneath those categories, I jot down their information. Those are my people that I'm going to contact that week. I don't stop jotting down names until I reach at least 30 people on my list, right? And then I take that list the next day or that night, depending on how late I want to stay up, and I start going through them. So if I have their phone number, or if I have their email, or if I don't have either of those, but I just have a name, then I Facebook stalk them. So I get some way to reach out to them, and I reach out to them for the first time. I introduce myself. I explain that I'm always looking to network. I'm always looking to connect with more people. I want to hear what their goals are. I want to hear what their story is. And then I want to see how I can help them. Right. And I leave it at that. I always throw in my blank card just so they have every way that they need to reach out to me. They have it. I wait for an entire month. That's a long time to wait, but I wait an entire month. And then I try a different approach. If I tried them on text, I'm going to try email. If I tried them on email, I'm going to try Facebook. So that way it goes back to that beginning of our conversation of what is their way of communicating, right? Because maybe they're an individual that never checks their emails. And maybe they're an individual that their phone is so overwhelmed with text messages and phone calls that they fall behind, and I just get lost in the shuffle. Life happens. So I choose a different way to approach them. And then 2 weeks later, I follow up with a third contact, finding a third way of reaching out to them. Lately, it's been Kajabi Communities because that is the newest platform. And I'm assuming that more and more people are going to be jumping on there. And that means my message is going to be one of the first things that they see when they join in, right? So that's what I do. After 2 months, if I don't hear back from them, they are shifted in my CRM, my marketing list, from people that I am actively trying to get in contact with to dead leads. Like they're off my list, they're out of my mind, and I move on. So that's kind of the timeline that I have. If I get in contact with somebody and we have a meeting like we did, right? I have a process in place for that to track all of our conversation. I have a Google form that I pull up while I'm talking to the individual on the phone, and I fill it out. And that way I make sure I get all that pertinent information that I want, right? I want to know what their avatar is. I want to know what their market is. I want to know what their family life is. If they're telling me stuff about their kids or their goal to, be retired and their husband is wanting to retire, like I jot all that down because that's important information about that individual that makes them unique, right? We're not just in here to add a number to our phone, right? We're here to actually make connections. So anything that I feel like would help me remember who they are and more about who they are as an individual, I take note of that. And I hit submit at the end of my call before I hang up. And you know what that does? That puts it into an Excel spreadsheet for me. I love Google. It does all the work for me. So I have all that information in a control F. I can search through that. I can find parameters for a PML that wants to lend out 60K or to 100K for 90 days, right? Because I've asked those questions. I've made note of that. And that way, if I'm talking to a connector that I know or an individual in the community and they mention something particular, I might have somebody in my list already that they need to connect with. And I add that to my email to them at the end of our conversation when that summarizes just, hey, thank you for your time. So this is the system that I have in place to not only help me keep track of all these phone calls, but also to help the individuals that are reaching out to me and having these phone calls. Because I want to give as much, like you said, I want to give as much value to them as I can. And so that's kind of the process that I have in place.
Hey, Emma, how far would you have gotten if you didn't record any of that data at all?
Oh my gosh. I feel like I would be in cricket land. I would be so lost and so confused and I would probably be embarrassed. I'd be reaching out to the same people and they'd be like, we already talked. And I'd be like, oh crap, we did. Like now I feel like you feel like I didn't pay attention, right? Because I didn't even remember talking to you. And that's not where you want to be. You want to be able to track all that and know those connections and know why they matter to you.
Yeah, because we see that a lot on the integrator side, right? Like people have the CRM, but they're not putting any notes in.
Yeah.
And you need to be doing that regardless of who you're trying to sell. I don't care if you're calling buyers, if you're calling lenders, if you're calling other sub two students, if you're calling agents, like you need to keep good notes and good ideas on who is what, who has what, who needs what. Because otherwise, how are you going to solve any problems at all?
Yes. So true. So true. One of the other things that I've just started implementing this month is great. You've made these connections, right? Great. Your list of individuals that you have in the community is growing amazing. You're doing an amazing job. But what's next? Staying
Mhm.
connected with those individuals, making a plan, right? To have those individuals followed up on. And so if somebody pops into my mind that day, I either immediately pick up my phone and text them or I make a note. Call this or text this person before you go to bed at night. Just say, hey, like, you popped in my mind. How are things going? Otherwise, I go through the alphabet. On the first day of the month, I contact anybody whose name starts with A. On the second day of the month, I contact anybody whose name starts with B. And that way, my giant list that I've been capturing all this information on, those individuals are still staying connected to me and they still remember me. Oh, that's that TC that really wants to know more about my life and my business. Oh, that's the integrator that actually remembered in our last conversation that I was dot dot dot, that I was pursuing
Mhm.
something. She's following up. Did it happen? And so that at first I was feeling very overwhelmed until I realized, you know what? Like if you just do bite sizes and you have a plan A, B, C, D, E, then it's doable. And people are responding very well to that. They're saying, wow, like the fact that you're reaching out to me, I need to do this more often.
Yeah, and you were always on point with our communication too. Like anytime I needed you, I just shoot you a text. I know I'll either get a text or an email back, like in her time frame.
Yeah.
Let's see. So Lynn has a question. She wants to know. She asked, "Do you record those calls or do you just let them fill out your form?
Yeah. So
Like when you're making the networking calls?"
yeah, I fill out the form. I haven't started recording yet. I have somebody the other day say you give so many great bite-sized information in your conversations that I should be recording so I can snip it down and share it on, Instagram or Facebook as my marketing. But I haven't done that yet. So if anybody has advice or input as to how I should be doing those recordings, I would love to hear from you.
There's an AI tool for that actually. You can just take, I think you can do a screen record video, and then you should be able to upload the video to Opus Clip, and Opus Clip will cut little bite size like
Oh, great.
reels and TikTok videos and stuff out of it. I want to say it's either opus.pro or opus.clip. It's OPUS. A lot of my friends that do long form content, they do like their video podcasts on YouTube, like
Yeah.
Pace does, and then they just upload their 1 hour, 2 hour videos in there, and it pulls, let's say, 10 or 15 reels out of that.
Great. Somebody else is saying StreamYard also.
Yeah, StreamYard's another good one that my buddy, I think I told you about that podcast I was on, Emma.
Yeah,
The
I
building
joined
great,
them.
yeah, building great sales teams. The podcast that I did an interview on last year, they use StreamYard as well as Buzzsprout, but Buzzsprout's merely for usually for the uploads and the KPIs on your podcast.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
Do you have
the
any
StreamYard and Opus Clip.
one of the things that I've been coming in contact with in my calls is that I'm meeting a lot of individuals that do phone calls while they're driving. Does anybody have any advice for those kind of individuals who want to record or need a way of capturing those notes, but obviously their hands are tied to their wheel while they're driving?
I mean, the only thing I can kind of tell people to that is that's where the forms do come in. If you're not if you know you're not going to be free, you can build out your Calendly, you can build out forms in there, you can build out forms in your CRM, you can use Google Forms and just automatically populate a Google sheet like you were talking about earlier. Like I built out a Google form for borrowers, I built out a Google form for contact information, and I built out a Google form for lenders because I need to just get the snapshot, right? I don't need all of the info up front. I just need enough in order to make an informed decision. And when I'm building out my calendar, I build some forms that give me enough information in there that I know basically what they have, what they need, their phone number and their email address. Because if I have the email address, I can share stuff like Google Drive folders and all that kind of good stuff.
Yeah. Okay. Great.
Because I do drive a lot for work. Like there's some days I'm on the other side of the state. I just never know where I'll be.
Chris is
Emma,
saying,
for
yes.
so for me, where I drive and 90% of all my calls are done from my truck,
Mhm.
I just keep, before I have a calendar call set up, like I go ahead and write down name, address, phone number, everything from the calendar link, what state they are in, city, sub to, go ahead and start that in. And then when I hit the conversation, I can, right next to it, I can write, oh, they have 2 kids, a boy and a girl. They blah, 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 like real simple notes. And then I'll turn around once I get home, at least at the end of the week, I will upload all of my notebook into an Excel spreadsheet. So that way I have my list that way. I mean, that's what I do. Is not saying it's anything good, but as somebody that drives from their truck all day long, that's what I do.
Awesome. No, I love that. And then I saw a couple notes in here. They're saying if you have an Android easy voice recorder, can record for at least 35 minutes. And then for
Yeah.
Apple users, it's the Rev call recorder. So I might check those out and see what those are like and start giving this to our community, the individuals like yourself who are driving that would like to record. Because if you have a recording, right, you can either go back and listen to it, or you can drag and drop it into, what is it, Otter AI, and it automatically does like the transcription for you. And so then you would have those notes written out from your conversation. So using AI, using your technology, right, to benefit your networking is key.
Lynn also said that CapCut's good for Reels, which I do agree with. I've used it before. It's a very robust tool, and you can make like professional level content basically for free with that thing.
Wow. Perfect. Awesome. This is a lot of great information coming through the site chat here.
Yeah, it's got your integrator brain going because you're like, man, I could just build a huge tech stack and like not have to do a whole lot.
I know. Yeah, there's an individual in our community that been talking to several of them regarding operator and needing an operator. And one of them was like, "Hey, I have all these voice recordings. Can you transcribe it?" And I was like, "Yeah, I can." And then I got off the phone. I was like, "There has to be an AI for that." And then that's when I found Otter, and I was like, "This what would have taken me a really long time, and they would have had to pay me for my time for that, would be done in a matter of like seconds, right?" I'm like, it's like, yeah, like as integrators, finding the way to get stuff done a lot faster and a lot easier than what the visionaries may think it's going to take us, right? They just
Right,
want
because without us, they'd be shoving the square peg into the round hole.
exactly. Yeah. How about we take a knife and chisel out the square and make it a round hole so that I can fit through it?
Right, exactly. I have a chisel, I have a hammer.
Mhm.
Let's shave the edges and we'll make it work.
Yeah.
That's a much better way to do it than just sitting there with the hammer or with no tools at all and just
Just
trying to force the
over.
solution. Yeah.
Yeah.
Somebody's gonna take a screenshot of us doing that and it's gonna be embarrassing. I
Yeah.
see it
Yeah.
now.
So true.
Johnny, I'm watching you. But talk to me a little bit about Otter AI because you did mention that in what that was one of the things that you wanted to include in the agenda when you and I discussed earlier this week.
Yeah, so Otter AI is an online platform that you can subscribe to, that you can drag and drop recordings, or you can attach Otter AI to your Zoom calls, and it will transcribe everything that is being said to the T. Like it's a really spot on device that it can be utilized. So if you're needing something like that to transcribe your live Zooms, you can get it and attach it to the call, or you can record phone calls and Zooms and drag and drop those files into AI online, the Otter AI online, and it will transcribe it for you then.
Lynn also said, as a visionary, I forgot where I put the square peg.
I know I have a square peg. Can you go find it for me?
Girl, same.
You need an integrator to come into your life and get you organized. That's what I'm hearing from
She said, I do.
that.
That's all right, Lynn. You've got both of us. You have my number. You have Emma's number, and y'all have my calendar link. Provided Johnny doesn't spam it, and I have to create a new one. You guys can always book a time with me. That 30-minute link is recurring, so feel free book a call. It's got my availability for the next 90 days.
Awesome.
And I think that's the other thing I would talk to is, like I said, if you're new and you're starting out, you don't have any systems at all. I've
Yes.
been telling people start with Calendly or Motion or whatever your preference is. I use Motion. I just switched from Calendly. It's a little bit more robust. It's kind of like more in Emma and I's wheelhouse because it has project management and task management stuff.
Nice.
But if that's too advanced for you, don't do it, right? The best tool is the one that you're going to use, just like
Right.
the best diet is the one that you're going to stick to.
Mm-hmm.
And Calendly is stupid user friendly, like stupid, and anybody can learn it. So I would say start with Calendly, start with Google. Google's free. You can have a Gmail. Just make sure it's professional, right?
Right.
Don't You don't want to be Hello Kitty 69 at gmail.com. That's not a good
No.
idea
No.
when you're doing real estate transactions. Make it just your first and last name, as few in numbers as possible. And if you want to spend the extra $6 a month, then go get the @domain
Yeah.
email.
Yeah.
But all in all, even if you are paying
I
for G
definitely.
Suite,
Sorry, I definitely do push Google. I know that it. I try not to push a lot of platforms, but Google is one that I really enjoy because you have the forms there that you can use in this community that you're needing to collect that data, you can, you know, create spreadsheets and Word documents. And so all of that is right there. Um, Johnny changed it to Hello Kitty 666.
I see that. He Johnny's got a sense of humor, that one.
Mm-hmm. The in top
More
tier,
people.
that's me, Mark. Yeah. In top tier, one of the things that we talk about is before you're up and running, before you're even looking for individuals that are needing your services, you should get some sort of CRM up and at least the base of it ready, right? Because you need to be able to have something where you can follow and track these kind of conversations. And so, you know, for TCs, a lot of the ones that we talk about are Monday, Trello, Notion. Those are the three that I come up in top tier TC a lot, that we talk about. I believe all three of those have free versions out there, you know, basic versions that you can use that is not going to be additional money out of your pocket. Other platforms that I've come across that I know that I have a PML team that I'm working with, and they're using Pipeline Pro. And another individual just this week also said that they're in the process of getting Pipeline Pro. So find the CRM, find the device that's going to help you track. If it's Excel, right? Great. Know that you have that ready so that you can start tracking these conversations and so you can track your business, so that you can have those KPIs, right? You need to be able to track so that you can know if you're wasting time and where you need to make those shifts.
That, and I would say start where you are. Don't go
Yeah.
out, because I see this with every visionary. Visionaries are the best salespeople. But what do salespeople enjoy more than selling is being sold. And I
Yeah.
see it every time. Oh, I just bought this CRM for $597 a month. And you're like, what do you need that for? Your deal flow is like one deal a month. Like, is this really worth it? There's so much going on there, and like realistically, you have the fundamental base of a CRM if you can just manage Calendly,
Yes.
Google, and I mean, really, that's how I got started in the first 60 days, was literally just those two things. Was Google, because they have Google Drive, Google Forms, Google Sheets, Google Slides. Again, all of these are free,
Yes.
right? Now, if you want to pay $6 a month, that's up to you. By all means, it's $6. Like, what do
Right.
you care? Calendly is $20 to get all the features. And you need the features because, in my opinion, it allows you to book more than one person on a call. So if you're trying to book a call with a team, that's really important. It gives you the custom branding.
Yes.
There's a whole lot that kind of like, there's just so much. It opens up your world.
Yeah.
Whereas, and it's not, it's like, again, it's not as tech savvy for people that are not tech savvy. So it's a really, really good option for people. The only blind side I find is, if I book on your calendar, it does not, if I don't get that confirmation email, I have no idea when the meeting is.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And
That was
that's based on how they set up their Calendly, right? That it should come through and you should get a verification. But if you haven't set up that Calendly to send out verification or reminders, they're not going to get that. One of the issues I ran into just this last week is I forgot that my Calendly said 3 Tiers Concepts, right? Which is my business name. And somebody was like, I had no idea who I was having this meeting with, because I've never heard your business name. I've only heard your name. And so I went and I made that change so that when it showed up on somebody's calendar, they knew they were meeting with Emma, not some
right.
strange company. Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, I think the Calendly thing is just
That was me.
oh, that was Andrew. Andrew, we weren't going to call you out, buddy, but I guess you did it on your own.
It's all good. I called Emma. I was like, I don't even know who 3 Tiers is.
Yeah.
Like,
and I'm like, oh my
it
gosh,
was me.
I didn't realize that was happening.
No, just one of those. The alarms are going off, and I was like, I knew I had a call, and I was like, I was trying to search, and I was Googling. I was like, I don't even know who this is.
Yeah.
But I'm so glad. But I love to be able to help others. And, you know, it was great. We had a good conversation and I appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey,
But I
Adam,
do find
I'm gonna go grab my charger really quick. I'll be right back.
yeah, I do find, guys, that the Calendly does have that blind spot. So that was the whole reason I made the switch from Calendly to Motion. Was a couple of weeks ago, or about a week ago, I ran into this issue with Cassandra Johnson. Cassandra and I networked on family night. She texted me her calendar. I booked on the calendar. Her closest available time was the 15th, and at the time, this was at least a whole week before. So we get to that Friday, and I'm looking and I'm scrambling. I'm like in my phone, and I'm like, where is she? She's not in my calendar. I can't find her contact. I'm freaking out because I couldn't find the confirmation email to add the event to my calendar because Calendly doesn't add it automatically. So that was ultimately why I made the switch to Motion, was because I was tired of going in and looking for those confirmation emails in order to get those events on my calendar. And I was also just tired of the availability. Sometimes it will show my availability on your calendar and which meetings I can and should book, and other times it won't show it. But either way, even despite, like, they all have their flaws. Like, Motion's not perfect either. I'm dealing with a couple of little bugs that I've found since I started that one 7 days ago or 8 days ago, whatever it's been. So that none of these systems are foolproof. It's just finding the one that you can and will consistently use, because that's more important than anything else. But you can start with your phone and Google, and you can start with a calendar, because for those of you that have iPhone, all of these fields are searchable. Whatever data you put in. So for me, for my friends and stuff, I'll put like their nicknames in the company field, because I can tell Siri to call whatever the nickname is. Like one of my buddies, we all call him Boo Boo, just a funny name that we have for him. He worked with me for a long time. We give him a lot of hell. So if I tell Siri call Boo Boo, it calls him. It Not now, Siri. So yeah, so just know and understand that, like, the tech is here to help you. Just don't get bogged down in the weeds with the tech. There's no need to be, building out crazy landing pages and forms and buying expensive CRMs so you can buy a calendar on top of the CRM, so you can buy some other thing that somehow you're going to tie all these things together. It really just comes down to finding the tools that you can use and then integrating them together. So like I said, for us, it's Google and their suite of products. And then there's your calendar and building out your forms inside your calendar. But if you have a CRM too, you might already have, like, say, a calendar option in there. You might already have those forms. And like, just don't get bogged down, guys. That's the big thing, is people either get stuck with their heads in the clouds, which is typically the visionaries, and they can't pull those ideas down and bring them to a base level, or the integrators tend to be stuck in the weeds, and you have to almost grab them by the shirt and pull them up and be like, no, look, here's the big picture. We were just still talking about tech stacks, Emma, and how I was just telling them, like, don't get too bogged down in the weeds because it's not necessary. Like,
Right.
pick the 2 or 3 tools that you're going to be able to work with and work well with.
Yeah.
And just roll with it.
Yeah, absolutely. I saw a note, a message from Blaine a little bit farther up in our conversation, wanting to know how we change our name in Zoom. So if you go down to the lower tab underneath participants and you open that up and you find your name, hover over it and you'll see the more button. And right there is where you have the option to rechange your name for Zoom. It's great to always have some way to contact you, and preferably also your lane you're in, or um, even like contact me if you're, you know, DTA or wholesaler or whatever. Like you can put those kind of conversations in your name up there.
And for the more advanced stuff, just go to zoom.us, go into your settings. If you want to buy the license so you can record all your calls, you can do that. Zoom is actually the other, like, I would say realistically, if you can master Zoom, Google, and a calendar, like, you're pretty well on your way to getting your first deal.
Right.
But zoom.us is where the more you dig in on the actual website, the more you'll find. Like, that's where you find your personal meeting links. So that way, if you want to set recurring meetings, you can use that link as opposed to the one-time links that are generated whenever you start a new meeting.
Hmm.
That's where you buy your license. That's where all your recordings are hosted. That's how you can change your name. You can change how you appear in there and all that. And you can download the app for your computer, just sign in with your Zoom account. And that'll streamline like the vast majority of it for you.
Hmm.
And guys, also like with your tech stacks, eliminate as much overlap as you can. Like you don't need to have. I understand that this tool does one thing and this tool does another thing, but that if they both have a calendar, get rid of one. Like
Hmm.
you don't need 2 and 3 and 4 calendars to merge all into one spot. You just need to have one calendar that you keep up with really well. You don't need to have every different kind of form out there underneath the sun, or landing pages, or funnels, or whatever you want to call it. They're pretty much all the same, and they all work the same. Just find the one that you can use. Like I said, it's just like the diet. It's just like the workout. It's not about how fancy or intricate it is. It's about the one that you're going to stick to consistently.
Yeah. Yeah. Buying into something that is so overwhelming, you're more likely not to use it and your money is going to go to waste.
Right. Because how many months are you going to spend paying for that software, whatever it is, and convincing yourself that you're going to learn it and you're going to get better at it, just so you won't do it?
Yeah.
We're all human, guys. I've done it. I'm sure Emma's done it. We've probably paid for software way too long. Just
Yeah.
don't put yourself in a bad spot from the jump. I mean, I think you would agree with that, huh, Emma? Like, if you're literally just starting out, those 3 things that we were talking about is probably, I think, would get you to about 2 deals a month.
Yeah. Yeah. I know. I would agree with you on that. Just having those bases in place is a good foundation of where you need to start. And then as you grow, or if you have the ability to hire somebody in to help you with more, then that's when you can get a little bit more fancy, right? Um,
Mhm.
I love the conversations that I keep going back to Top Tier TC because I get so much out of that platform. I'm out of that community. But Molly, like Pace's entire team was on Trello, and Ashley came into the picture. And Ashley has been a Monday CRM kind of individual, and they made that shift because there was just so many positives and pluses that Ashley was able to show them. But although the entire team has now shifted over, Molly is calling up Ashley. I don't know where this is. I don't know what to do, right? And so it's great that they have somebody on their team to educate them and to help them learn the new platform. But if you are just starting out and you're new to yourself, don't go get something fancy, because you're going to spend so much time, like we were just saying, like you're going to spend so much time. Adam hit it right on the head, trying to learn the platform and be like, I need my money's worth of this. I need my money's worth of this. That's taking away from your productivity of the other things that you should be doing that will bring money in. So it's okay to hold off for the fancy. It's okay to hold off for the fancy until you have the capacity and the ability to bring somebody on to help you learn that software, um, and to help your team grow. I'm just going to put that out there.
And there's one other tool I would say you could add to your tech stack that's free. and that's loom.com, guys. Loom is amazing. You can shoot one-off videos from the camera, like on your phone or on your computer. You can also do presentation videos. You can do screen records. It's a really easy way. So if you do end up like in a situation like with Molly, then all you really have to do is do a couple Loom videos. I think the free version gives you up to 5 minutes, but once you pay for it, it's like $20 a month. You get access to all kinds of extra stuff. You can record hour-long videos and store them on the cloud. And that's a good way if you want to put KPIs, SOPs, like processes in place. Instead of having to type out the SOP every time, just make a folder with different Loom videos.
Mm-hmm.
Just make sure they're all labeled correctly. Let's see, we got somebody over here, Dick Nicholas. Hello, y'all. I'm happy to be here. I need integration 30-year home improvement contractor. Further teach D2D sales, telesales. I'll call anyone you want anytime. Tech hates me. I'd love to help all of you. I need a little help myself with a cell phone number. I would love the opportunity to help everyone overcome stage fright. Okay. So you need help with your tech, but you're a really good public speaker. You want to bring him up a little bit, Emma? We'll riff on it.
Great.
See
Let's
what
do
he's
it.
got. All right, Dick, go ahead. Go ahead and unmute yourself. I'm gonna bring you up here.
Hello, can you hear me okay?
Yeah, brother,
Yes.
what's going on?
Oh, wow, that's a big question, and I don't know how much time we have here today to talk about everything going on with me. I'm just noticing that I may be able to help out you guys, or anybody that's afraid to make phone calls, talk to customers, sellers, agents, whatever. I have tips and tricks, and literally, that's pretty much how my whole life started. Was had to take the lawnmower and go door to door to cut grass to raise money. Dad said, "I'll buy you your first gallon of gas. Go to work." So I've literally mastered that, and I personally can say this right now, and I love that it's being recorded. I've never met anybody that knows more about this subject or is focused more on it than I have. Talking to strangers, meeting people, and that's the whole thing. You know, when we're calling people, they can't see us. They have no idea. You guys have no idea where I am or how gorgeous the view is from where I'm sitting right now. And I'll tell you what,
We have no idea how gorgeous your face is either because your camera's off.
Yeah, I know, because I'm actually looking at about a half inch of dust on a ledge here on some trim, and I'm like, well, maybe we won't turn the camera on today. But so the way we all come across properties is different, and we're all at different stages of our development. And that's the thing. We all have one thing major in common. I want to point out right away, and that's that we are all impulsive people. Now, I'm sure you're going to start getting comments from people that disagree with me, and that's okay too. But I know this for a fact. And being impulsive is not a bad thing. All it really means is that we're smart enough to recognize a good deal when we see it and we hear it, and we're brave enough to act on that. You guys agree?
Oh yeah, I mean, most of your success in this space is going to come down to making decisions quickly. Like, I don't take every connector deal that comes my way. I turn down most of them because the borrower packages are shit. That's what it is.
Yep, 100%. 100%. So, but if I pulled up and I said, okay, if I invited you on a vacation, everything's paid for, we're going to hang out with Pace and everybody, blah, blah, blah. It didn't conflict with your schedule. You're smart enough to go, and I don't have to pay for anything. Yeah, I'm in. And you're all in. So
Right.
that's really all I mean by we're impulsive is we're smart enough to gather enough information to go, I'd like a little bit more information, but I don't want to miss this opportunity I'm in. So
So
we
that
are all
speaks
in
to something a little bit different, though. You're talking about like what you just said is crafting a really good offer. People don't have to have enough information to make a decision if the offer is good enough. Like you said,
100%.
if I call Emma up
100%.
tomorrow and I'm like, yo, I just want a day with Pace and both our plane tickets are paid for, what do you think Emma's gonna say?
Exactly.
She's
Exactly. And that's
rearranging her entire schedule. We're meeting Pace in Montana, we're shooting guns, we're riding four wheelers, we're having fun. But
100%.
Emma was sold on the idea because I had a good enough offer for her. Now, if I said, hey, Emma, we can meet with Pace, but he's only available tomorrow and it's going to cost us like 10 grand between the two of us for this trip. Probably not, right? Like, I think Emma has better things she could use 10 grand for.
100%. So I guess my question is, are you being the negative customer right now, or what? Where's this coming from? I'm just
So
trying
for
to
me,
point out that
So,
we
for
are
me,
all
what I would
impulsive people,
say,
and it's not a bad thing.
right, right. But for me, what I would say is there are other valuable things in my life. I have two kids that have to go to school. I have a husband here who relies on me for the functionality of the day to day. And so I take this into consideration as of the cost. So yeah, it could cost me $10,000 and it would be a great payout, but is my family and my worth to my family more than that? And the answer is yes. But if it's free and I have a little bit of time to plan, then hey, maybe that's the value of trumps what is needed at the house, and I can make this offer for me work. So it's not that I'm being a negative seller or a negative, recipient of the information that's being given to me. That there are other valuable things that need to be taken into consideration on a deal, not just the numbers.
yeah,
100%.
I'm near part equal visionary and integrator. So I just would never do the visionary work for anybody else other than myself. I enjoy doing the branding, the offers, that kind of stuff, the color palettes, all the stuff that matters over time, right? Because those are the long-term investments. I just enjoy doing the integrator work more, so that's why I advertise myself as an integrator.
Okay.
But yeah, that's what you're kind of hitting on. Is you're saying that you're really good at public speaking and crafting offers, which is just offers are just copywriting, right? Like actually, that kind of brings me
No, I
to
mean, I'm a door-to-door salesman. I'm a door-to-door sales trainer. I've taught and trained thousands of people that didn't think they were ever going to be capable of talking to a stranger about buying a certain product or service.
yeah, that's fine. I did door-to-door sales and cold calling. Like I've been through the trainers like you guys. And there's a personality type for that. I just don't fit it.
Sure, 100%. So I'll do that's what I'm actually saying is that I'm really good at that. And then once I need your help, like I'll do that stuff for you if you guys could do the other end of the office for me.
Yeah.
Okay.
I know your lane, like knowing your strengths and your weaknesses. That's why the community, it works so well, right? So putting yourself out there and saying like, I am really good at what I do, and I not only want to add this value to you, but I want to educate you. Come join my team, let me teach you, but this is what I need in return. I need somebody who's going to help me with this part of the business, right? And laying it out there. You're definitely going to find individuals who need that training, right? Who need that confidence put into their lives so that they can then have their own successful door-to-door or even phone calls, like getting on the call. Like people can hear your confidence level in your voice. They need to learn that, and if you're offering that to them, I know there's going to be a lot of individuals who are going to be excited about that.
Yeah, and to use your own language against you in a way, right? Like you're going to try to sell yourself to be on a team. That ideally, if you're brand new to sub 2, probably the best way to get started is to join a team And so that's the sale that you're trying to make first before you go out door knocking, cold calling, and all that. So you're gonna want to do disqual quick. Like you're gonna have to be like just a little bit more disciplined than impulsive when it comes to teams, because you're gonna get offers, but that doesn't mean that the team is the right fit for you either. So just understand that going in, and I'd be happy to, if you want to use my calendar link, we'll book a call and I'll see if I can't help you find a fit. And we can always, I might ask Emma if she knows some teams after we have a call.
100%. It sounds amazing.
Awesome.
So does that help you out a little bit, brother?
Yeah, Adam, 100%. So I mean, I've been in sub 2 for a while. It's almost embarrassing. And I've done deals.
November
I've
of
just-
2022. Come on, Dick. You gotta put yourself out there. Share your knowledge with us, please.
Yeah. So I mean, I you know, it's not analysis paralysis. It's not that my entire life I've acted on bravery. I've been the first person to try, you know, water skiing at some kid's birthday party, or the first, you know, I've never been afraid to do anything first, you know, and fail forward. I don't give a shit. If I fall climbing a tree, well, I guess I learned that branch was too small. I weigh too much. I need to start grabbing bigger branches. That's been me my whole life. So there's either something I'm missing or something I'm not getting right now, as far as turning everything that I know into piles of greasy, sweaty $100 bills. And it's integration. I know that.
Well, check this out. Andrew just said in here, he said, "Hey man, I'd love to have you call with me. I'm linking up investor fund buying in Florida. Let's hop on a call." So
Awesome.
the two of you message each other back and forth. Let's get y'all scheduled with a call. And like I said, if you scroll up to the top, my calendar link is in there, and I will see if I can't help place you somewhere.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And I'm gonna drop the calendar link again, so it's at the bottom of the chat. So that way you guys can have it if y'all need it.
Yeah, and so I guess I do have some questions if you guys have a minute, or maybe we can do this later. But in regards to tech stuff, electronics, and I mean, I have an Android phone and an Acer, laptop. Or no, okay, and we upgraded. We got a Lenovo. Uh, so like just there isn't an echo on this call, which is great because I've been on a couple of these before where my voice echoed really, really bad. And they said it was from my phone, so I'm glad you guys can hear me clearly. But I guess, is there a headset that you'd recommend, a microphone you'd recommend? You guys have any recommendations about stuff like that? And maybe we can talk about that later, I guess.
Beats, JBL, Bose. You'd be amazed at like just how many sets of headphones and headsets will work for what you're looking to do, and they come in every which kind of configuration. Like I use the standard AirPods. I don't like the ones with the silicone bushings because they always want to push out of my ear. Blaine says JBL is his personal favorite. I know a lot of people that swear by JBL. JBL and Bose are about on par with each other. If you want in-ear wireless, if you want in-ear wired, if you want the ones that hang over your ears, if you want the over the ears, like there's 100 different headsets that you could look at. It just kind of comes down to, if I was you, I'd honestly just go on Amazon, look for headsets, sort by reviews, go look for 5 stars and up, and then sort by the price that you want to pay.
There you go.
Awesome. I mean, one of the things that
Appreciate
I've been thinking about purchasing is an actual mic. Because I'm in a lot of these calls, right, where it's live and you want your voice to be picked up, but you want something that doesn't pick up the background. I have a 2-year-old that is at home with me while I work, and he can be loud, he can be crazy. And so finding something that picks up just my voice has been something I've been thinking about doing. I know a few individuals that have gone that route just to have it set up at their desk where they don't have to worry about the background noise. But it just depends. Like, are you taking these phone calls while you're out and about, or are you able to be in your office setting down, right?
Right. Yeah, I mean, it's more for, I mean, at this point, I could make seller calls 12 to 14 hours a day. I mean, I guess that's unrealistic because you can't call people at 6 o'clock in the morning and ask them if they want to sell you their property, but
Well, you
I'm
can if you're in a
available.
different market than them. You know,
You can if you have buyers in that market, right? Correct.
well, Emma's in California, right? If Emma's calling people on the East Coast, that's totally different. Because
Yeah.
Emma, it's what, 3 hours for you?
Yeah, 3 hours. Yeah, 3 hours.
Okay, so if Emma starts calling at 6 in the morning, she's actually calling people on the East Coast at 9.
I have a lot of early beginning of my day calls, after I get the kids off to school. And it's like the very first thing start of the day, but it's noon. It's like their lunch break, right? Where they're able to take a break from their W-2s and have a phone call with me. And I'm just getting my day out.
Yeah, Jesse Stanton does that a lot because his market is not where he lives since he lives in Alaska.
We have a TC in our community that lives in Hawaii, and most of her deals are East Coast. If you can believe that. So she gets up middle of the night, what feels like the middle of the night at least, early morning, and she works up until needing to take her kids to school. Takes her kids to school, has part of the day off, may even take a nap. I don't know what she does with her downtime, and then she pops back in and she does a few more hours before wrapping up the day. And so finding where your individuals are that you need to stay in contact with, and just using your time efficiency, right? Google has a way of pulling up more than one time zone on your calendar. I don't know if you guys know that or not, but if you are constantly talking to people on the East Coast, or if you're talking to people in Arizona and you're not in Arizona, and time difference, time change always happens 2 times a year for us and not for them, you can make that permanent in your calendar in Google so that you know what time it is where they're at and where you're at. So technology is wonderful.
Yeah, and you don't have to have the overly complicated tech to do all that.
Right.
Because that was going to be my only caveat to you wanting to get a microphone. Emma, I was like, what? Just make sure people understand. Like, don't go get a $5,000 like
yeah,
a podcast setup.
Right.
You're not there yet. Like, meet yourself where you are.
Right, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Did I give you a little bit better clarity, Dick?
Yeah, 100%. So I ordered it, or we didn't order it. We went and picked it up from a guy on Facebook Marketplace. Podcast mic and cord and such, but it didn't come with the earphones, the headset. So now I have a microphone and no headset. So I was curious if there was a brand I should look at, but we'll probably run up to Walmart or Best Buy here and see what they got.
Yeah.
They're probably gonna have JBL, Bose, and Beats. Those are the big 3 right now, and Skull Candy. Skull Candy is gonna be the cheapest one, and it's gonna probably be the best bang for your buck as far as like value goes, because you can get a whole ass headphone set for like $50, whereas the other ones you're probably gonna spend $200 or $300 on.
Okay. And then, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, you're good. I just popped a flyer into the chat. This is for anybody that is in the greater San Francisco area. I just wanted to make sure that they were invited to an event that I put on each month. So if anybody's wondering what that is, it's if you're in San Francisco area, I would like to see you all sometime soon.
Man, now I gotta make a trip to San Francisco.
They happen every month, so let me know when you do make that trip, and I'll make sure it happens. So yeah.
My best friend's in Pleasanton. or her family's in Pleasanton, so they're always begging me like, dude, come out here, come out here, come out here. I went out one year and we did 10 days, and we spent 5 up north and we spent 5 down south in California, and we had a good time.
Awesome.
Hey Emma, I got an interesting one
Yeah.
that we could riff on. What about social media? Because I get all the time, people are like, how do you utilize it? Like, what are you doing? How do you write your posts? How do I beat the algorithm?
It's a great thing to talk about. The algorithm is hard, especially in Sub 2 and Facebook. It is even hard for Pace himself. Like, he talks about it all the time, how he hates Facebook because he'll post something and then it gets declined or kicked out. And he's writing to the algorithm, right? He knows to put a picture in there. He knows what to say, and yet it's still having issues. So I would say in Facebook, whenever I post something, I make sure there is a picture. I make sure that it's not an extremely long post, if possible, because a lot of people would rather listen to something than read something. That's just the day and age that our society is in, is that we would rather hear than sit and read a book. So those are 2 things that I do. If I can, I will attach other people's names to it so that it automatically starts getting bumped. And then making sure you're bumping other people's posts, right? So having somebody just go in and say, I'm following this, I like this is awesome, thank you, helps with those posts being seen and staying in there. As for other platforms or for personal use, this is something that I tell individuals. And you, Adam, you may have something that you choose to do completely you're on your own. So I'd love to hear what you have to say about this. I have an Instagram page. It's been there for a while, and it is 100% based on my family and the things that we think are very, very important, which is Down syndrome. I have a 5-year-old who has Down syndrome, and I love getting out there in the community and talking about what individuals with Down syndrome, what they're like, and the importance of seeing their abilities. I'm not going to go into my Instagram and wipe all that out just so that I have a real estate friendly focus. What I see is that we're in a community and we want to know what makes us unique. What is our why? So I keep that there. And I share that with the community, with individuals, to say, this is who I am outside of being a TC. This is my why. These are the people that I love. And this is why I get up and I do what I do. So I have that out there to share, but I still make add stories and pop in pictures of screenshots of video of Zooms that I'm in, right? So I do throw bits and pieces in there of like, I'm a working mom, I'm in Sub 2, I'm in top tier. I love this Zoom that I was just on while I walked my kid to the park, right? And so I do put those plugs in there, but I still am a person and I still hold fast to what I was using it for in the first place. My Facebook, it does get more and more real estate focused, and that's where I do post more and more, because that's where I'm connected to top tier and Sub 2 and the creative real estate with Pace. And so that's my approach that I do, but I would love to hear you, Adam. What do you do?
So, well, you just hit on 2 really important things. There's like the law of familiarity, and there's the law of reciprocity. And so I'll stick to reciprocity first because that pertains specifically to the Facebook group. If you guys are going in the group, of course, everything that gets the most engagement goes right to the top. So like Emma said, I typically write my posts with plenty of spaces. Sometimes I'll even double space them as I'm typing it. And it's just as simple as, instead of typing out paragraphs this long, just type out a line, 2 lines, 3 lines, and then double tap enter, and then next line. And like she said, I'm not typing an essay, right? It's not going to be this long. People are not going to sit there and be glued to their phones for that long. I'm trying to tell a story in probably like 2 paragraphs, give or take, or less. Like I made that mindset post the other day in the group about about business entrepreneurship because I saw a lot of people like in our communities and around our communities talking about how lonely it is, how hard it is, and all that. And basically, what I said was like, I get it, right? I understand. I've been there. I've done that. I've experienced all those things. So I've been in business for like 10 years, probably a little bit longer than that, actually. It's probably like 12 or 13 years. I've been in business. And I can tell you that there were so many nights that I stayed up, I couldn't sleep, crying on the floor, like whatever, right? We all have those horror stories. And I just wanted to make sure that people felt seen and heard. And so by doing that, I made something very unique because only I can write it in the way that I can write it. Like,
Right.
you guys should not try to be me, just like I am not trying to be Emma, just like Emma's not trying to be Johnny, and Johnny's not trying to be Herb or anybody else. We're all our own unique person, and like because I care a lot about people, and I made sure that that showcased like I am here for you. If you're struggling in business, if you're feeling alone, if you feel like nobody's understanding it, I want you to reach out. I want to be the ear to lend because I didn't have that 10 years ago. So when I write my posts, I do that. And that helps people get more familiar with you because kind of like Emma was saying. So first there's reciprocity, which means like go in there, yes, engage, like hearts, comments, bumps. Because the more you do that, the more people are going to want to do that for you. But the familiarity is people have to know, like, and trust you. And if all you're doing is talking about being a TC, they're going to think you have the personality of like a paper plate. You're not going to be very engaging. You're not going to be very funny. And none of those things are Emma. Like, I've gotten to know Emma a little bit through the last couple of calls between this and the last conversation we had. She's not a boring person. Look at her. She's smiling and laughing. We're all having a good time. Like, that's who she is. And she shines when she does that. But if I were to go and take over Emma's Instagram and I were to remove anything about Down syndrome, I were to remove anything about the kids, if I were to remove anything about the husband, and it was solely like, look at me, this is all the paperwork I did today.
No.
Nobody's gonna know, like, or trust her because they
Yeah.
don't know who she is. And that's super, super important. And you control all my social media, you'll get a pretty good grasp of who I am. You'll get a good grasp of the fact that I love God, I love country, I like diesel trucks, I like, boots and jeans and like just being a country boy and playing around with chainsaws and heavy equipment and like all the crazy stuff I do on a daily basis. You I talk about my medical history and how I had brain surgery at 18 months old. All that's on my Instagram. Like you can find it. I don't always like bring it up right away, but anybody that wants to do their due diligence on me and learn who I am as a person, all that info is already provided.
So don't erase you. Don't erase you is what I'm gonna like. That's what I tell people is be you and don't erase your past on there. Like we want to know who you are.
I'm gonna go ahead. What you got, Herb?
Oh, he's muted.
You got to unmute, buddy. There you are.
Am I good?
Yes.
See, already I need help because I don't know how to unmute myself. So I'm a lost cause. But no,
Oh,
no, but I guess so what I'm hearing you guys say on that last portion is because I have an issue with that. I have done a lot of things in my lifetime, and I'm doing a lot of things just right now besides sub 2. And so I have so much stuff going on. I'm like, what do I do? And a lot of times I don't do anything. So what I'm hearing you guys say is, and you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, is post something. If you're in the truck and you're trucking, post about trucking. If you're stopped trucking and then you're on a Zoom call like this, post that. If you're not on a Zoom call or something like this, but you're stopped still and you're making wholesale calls to direct agents, then record yourself doing that as well, or record that call as well, and then post it or make snippets of it using tech. And there's different tech AI options that you guys provided earlier and things of that nature. Am I correct or am I not correct?
No, I
Yeah.
think you're pretty much on point.
Mhm.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Emma.
Cool.
Yeah. There, there's the rule of 7, right? So you need your product to get in front of a person 7 times before they're willing to buy it. So if you are out there and you're wanting to connect with the private money lenders and build those relationships because you know you're going to need money in the future for your deals, your name and who you are and the fact that you're an honorable person willing that they would want to lend to needs to come up in front of their face 7 times, right? And that way they feel comfortable. I mean, they're still going to probably ask for a background check and they're still going to do their due diligence, but they're more likely to say, yes, I know that person and I like what he stands for. Let's do business with him, right?
And they trust you.
Getting yourself out there 7 times is really important. And that's not just 7 days, because let's face this, we're all addicted to getting on social media in some form or fashion, but we're not going to see your post 7 days in a row when you post it. It's just the algorithm. So every day, whether it's on Instagram or Facebook, one picture, one post, one like, just getting on there and doing one thing, making it a habit, I think is important.
And even if you just start with adding your stories, add to your stories, go in the Facebook group, add value inside of the groups. There's so much, like, you don't necessarily, so many people tell me, they're like, I'm just a private person. You just don't understand. And it's like, no, I get it. You're scared. Like, let's call a spade a spade. If you don't want to put yourself out there, you don't want to put yourself out there. But, don't come back to me with excuses and crying about the results you don't have because you didn't do the work. Right? Like, I don't post on my timeline every day. I don't post on my Instagram feed every day. I rarely post on either because I'm busy going and doing the other things. But
Right.
I will go post in the Facebook group once, maybe twice a day, depending on what I have going on, and that could be anything from funding requests that I have in my inbox, the things that I'm doing, to mindset stuff. Because, like I said, it doesn't always have to be around the one thing. Like, even if you just start, Herb, like, I know how much you love trucking, and I know because you and I talked about that when we first got in. We wanted to do 0 down and buy a whole bunch of vehicles, and we were gonna, use them for our fleets and resell them and all of that. Like, talk about that. Talk about what you like. Talk about what you don't like. Talk some shit. Like, seriously, go in your stories and be like, "Come as this trash." You're gonna get some engagement.
There is
All right.
so many truckers in our
like
community.
that.
I would love to see somebody take initiative and say, hey, truckers unite, like, let's connect. Let's see, how are you doing it, right? Just posting a picture with your, I see your sub 2 hat, posting a picture with your sub 2 hat on your next stop. Just say, like, I'm doing deals while I'm driving the road, right? It's that simple of one quick
Whoa,
picture.
whoa, 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 whoa.
Well,
Stop.
you're not doing deals while you're driving.
No. That was so beautiful. Say it one more time. I gotta write that down. That was
Doing deals
amazing.
while I'm driving, or like while I'm trucking, something like that. So
That's
um
nice.
yeah, and so there are ways of making those really quick posts and seeing how you can connect with the other individuals who are truckers in our community, because there are a lot of them that
Yeah.
I've been talking to lately.
Take pictures of your hat in different landscapes. Put the hat on your dash. Put the hat on your hood. Take your hat off, hold it like this, and just put it right in front of, like, whatever landscape you're looking out at. If you're in Reno, Nevada, just hold your hat out, take a picture of it, be like, look, this is the sunset right behind me. This is where I'm doing deals at today.
Yeah.
That's
Like,
genius.
make sub 2 part of your personality, right? Like, we wear things to express ourselves. It's the same thing. That, like, this is your form of expression. Your social media is your outfit for the day, right? Like, y'all probably couldn't read it, but it says red, white, and barbecue. That pretty well sums up
Nice.
me.
And
So-
we're both wearing green because it's St. Patty's Day, and we made sure to talk about that beforehand. We're like, we're gonna wear green today, right?
Yeah,
Oh, it
this is the
is.
only green company shirt I have, but guess what? I still have it,
Yeah.
and it counts.
Nice.
You know, like I said, just talk some shit. Just make crack jokes and I mean, throw stuff in your stories. Talk about what you like about trucking. Talk about what brands you like, what brands you don't like, because you'd be amazed at how easily you can connect with people on that. You probably see it, bro. I throw shit in my stories every day. I throw shade at all my friends that drive like trucks that aren't like mine. And I just do it for
Right.
fun. And it's not
And
because
one of the
I would
things that
never it's
go
not
ahead.
because I would never buy those trucks. It's just because I just like giving them shit. And they instantly DM me with like laughing faces and whatever. They're like, ha ha ha, you think you're so funny. It's like, well, I am funny, so thank you.
One of the things that I've been doing lately is that I've been posting pictures of when I take my 2-year-old to the playground. And the reason that I've been doing that is because in Top Tier, we talk a lot about how we are complex houseplants with emotions. You need air, you need sunlight, you need to drink and eat. Like, you can't forget these very important, vital things in your life, right? Yes, we're business individuals, but we also need all this stuff. And so they've been really hounding on us to take time for ourselves and to remember to have space away from the computer. So I make it a point. I might be listening in, to a live Zoom or a recording from the vault or not. But I took my child to the playground today for 30 minutes to an hour. And so I take pictures of him and I post it and I say, thank you for reminding me to get fresh air. I appreciate the trainings that you've given me, and I'm making it a part of my daily life, right? So kicking it back to those that have educated us, making a post about my family, and talking about how I'm a working mom all in one post. It's very quick, very short, but that's something that I've been doing to try to add to my social, make those posts, make the grandparents happy, but still be in front of my community as a TC and an integrator.
Nice. Thanks for sharing.
You're welcome.
Like I said, talk some shit on people. Make them laugh. Like, look at
Got it.
Johnny over
Somebody
there.
to
He didn't know that
talk about, get connected with Johnny. Johnny's really good about, going back and forth with you, right? You and Johnny should be friends and poke at each other.
Yeah, Johnny didn't
Wait.
even know that diesel trains were real. He thought they were all electric. It's those Tesla brain people, man. Like, they just well, that's what happens when you drive a Tesla.
Right.
But see what I mean? Like, that's because it doesn't just build credibility that you know what you're talking about. It also builds rapport with people. Like Emma said, Johnny and I go back and forth all day long, and we give each other shit all day long. But Johnny and Van were among the first two people, besides you, Herb, that connected with me. Like, as soon as I got into Sub 2.
Nice, nice.
And I
I
just
like the
kept that
fact that you had
relationship
to
going.
clarify that's not real. My fault. I'm listening to you, but that was funny. The fact that he had to clarify that no, it's not real.
You're not
But
wrong.
right. But no, but that makes perfect sense. I'm taking down lots of notes and I'm going to implement it.
Bro, I'm looking at the clear sky behind you. Take a picture of that and show everybody where you're
Where
doing
are
deals
you at? Looks gorgeous there.
Where am I? I'm in hold on one second. I'll tell you just 1 second. I'm in the great state of Nebraska in the city called Milford.
Nice.
And I
Yeah.
bet you could post that right now, and so many people would be like, bro, I didn't even know that was a real town. And you'd be like, yeah, it's real. I'm standing right here.
Knowing our community, somebody's gonna go, hey, I live right up the street.
I'm like, wow.
That's the other thing
What?
too. Yes, somebody's bound to see it, and they're just gonna go, hey, wait a second. That's 20 minutes away from me.
Yeah.
Very, very easy way to get in front of people.
Cool. You guys are brilliant. I appreciate it. I just need the coaching because I guess for myself is I like sports. Well, not just today's sports. I don't like it, but like back in the day sports, I like that, and I like the whole concept of let's huddle, and in the huddle, we kind of brainstorm, and during that brainstorming, it says, okay, you're gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, and then we're all gonna come together, and then we're gonna make this play work. Ready? Break. And then we all go out and do our thing. So that's why this is so important, because right now we just had a huddle and I was being quiet and listening. And I was like, okay, so I'm going to go do this. I'm going to do that. Okay, I'm taking notes. And then I say, well, I'm going to go implement it. I'm going to go apply it. The knowledge that I just learned. Ready? Break. So appreciate you guys.
Welcome. Thanks for having
You
me.
like the old school sports too. You must like them when they clothesline motherfuckers in games and shit.
Oh, back in the 60s and 70s, even
That's
before that, where they had like the little leather helmets. Those were the days. Those were the
Yep.
days. Speaking of
Concussions
sports,
were had.
you said about huddling, right? One of the things that I was experiencing living in San Francisco is that the meetups out here are legit. They're huge. Like 100+ people come to every meeting. I know that's not like that for every meetup in Sub 2, but here in San Francisco, like we have these huge meetups every month, twice a month actually.
wow.
And what I was experiencing was that I was walking away with maybe a handful of numbers, a handful of conversations, but I never felt like I had the huddle of, okay, this is what you do. This is how I can help you break, right? I just felt like it was just scratching the surface and there was no follow up. Even if I would call, like it wasn't really getting anywhere. You can't tell this maybe on this Zoom, but I am an outgoing introvert. Big events like
Same.
that actually do drain me, and I need to go home and have a bourbon and a hot bath and be left alone. And my kids feel left out because they haven't seen mommy for a couple hours and they're like, why are you boring that right now, right?
Wow.
So I found a way to build those huddles myself. And the flyer that I put in the chat a few minutes ago, that was my alternative, where I create a small REI meetup in San Francisco proper once a month. And it's 10 people, 15 people, maybe up to 25 people. I haven't seen it that big yet. That come together and we sit around and have a beer together at a brewery around a table. And what we do is we say, this is who I am. This is what I have to offer. This is what I need. And we find out that we are each a tool in the tool belt, and that the whole tool belt needs to come together so that we can make it work, right? So that we can build this community and get deals done. And we're able to break that huddle and walk away and know exactly what needs to happen and how we can help each other. I wasn't getting that in those large meetups, right? So I created my own, and it's called TC Talk. And I always plan it on a day that the other meetups are not happening, because I still see value in those and I want people to go to those. But you can do that too. Like if you're realizing that you're not getting what you want out of a meetup, or the meetups, somebody I talked to the other day, the meetups are always on a weekend and I work weekends. Great. You know what you can do? Thursday, you can have Thursday happy hour, and I bet you people will show up. I bet you at least a handful of people will show up, and you'll be able to walk away knowing what you need to get done. So you have that power. You have that ability to make things work for you.
Dude, I guarantee if you work on your posts in the group and you just start doing that, you're like, hey guys, I'm in this town today. Who wants to do a local meetup? It might be 3 people. It might be 5 people. Because like you said, you're kind of going through some of these towns that are real small. I doubt you would get a lot of people in Milford, Nebraska. I'm just throwing that out there. You might not, right? But I guarantee if you were like, hey, bro, I'm coming to New Orleans, like, let's do a meetup. I'm scrambling. I'm getting everybody. Like, let's go. Because I'm about it. We did that back in January. We had a meetup. We had like 60, 70 people show up. And they came from all across the South. So we had guys coming from Alabama, Arkansas, North Louisiana, Mississippi, and they all came converged right here. It just happened to be like one of my favorite bars. But we didn't pay anything for that. Like we all just showed up, cash bar, buy your own beer, You want barbecue, they got barbecue. And, you know, everyone had a really good time.
Nice.
Mhm.
Oh
Just
man, I
make sure
got
you have a way to collect the data from the people that do show up.
collect data and okay, so that's going back to the what was that you said? It wasn't the calendar. Um,
We had a guy that went
actually,
around
yeah,
our meetup with a Google Sheet open on his phone.
Google Sheet.
And
There we go.
that's what he was doing. He was just taking his phone and he was passing it off and he was saying, "Hey guys, here you go. Go ahead, enter your information and we'll follow up from there." But like I was saying earlier too, yeah, you could do that. That'd be a really, really easy way. Build a Calendly form and ask on there the basics. You need their phone number, you need their email, you need what do they have and what do they need. That was my form, was those 4 questions. That was it. Nothing else, nothing crazy, nothing, you know, because you're gonna get into all that on a call. And you can set your Calendly to be a phone call appointment, which is what I do. I have 2 different meetings. You can either book a 30-minute call with me or you can book a 1-hour Zoom with me. But the only way you're getting an hour Zoom with me is if we actually have business to discuss, because my time is valuable, right? A 30-minute phone call, I can take a 30-minute phone call and still be doing whatever the hell I want. There's no intrusion on my side. And that would be a really, really good way for you to have the follow-up automated. Because if they're booking through your calendar, you're not only getting their information, you're getting the next best time to talk to that person.
Yeah. I use Blink. I don't know if you've heard of Blink. It's an app that it's basically like my business card, if you will. And so it has all my contact information and it has a link in there for my Calendly. But I came across Blink because I was going to all these meetups and other individuals were using it. So QR code that you're seeing on my screen up here, this is all created in Blink and you can just scan that and it opens it up. So when I am at these events, we just get each other's Blink cards, and then it puts their information in there and timestamps and dates and lets me know when I met that person. So
Wow.
anybody met on, the 16th of the month, I met them yesterday at a meetup, right? And so I could then take that information and utilize it whichever way I want, put it into a spreadsheet, put it into a CRM, leave it there, whatever I need to do. But that is my first approach to how I get their information.
Giant said you can also add notes at the bottom of Blink. And he sometimes puts his pitch decks in there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. I think I
So
have a lot to go by now.
Awesome.
that's the biggest thing, guys. It's just executing. Like, it's just execute, execute, execute. You can't get anything done if you have a new idea every day. New ideas are great. They're fun. They're entertaining. They're worth exactly this much. They're worth a big fat goose egg. So if you're not executing on the things, if you're not going to go download the apps, if you're not going to like experiment with them and try them out and build the forms and go to YouTube when you get stuck or Google when you get stuck, all like everything that Emma just said and I just said falls on deaf ears.
Mm-hmm.
You guys are going to leave this Zoom and you might come back to us next week with the same problem. And I'm just going to tell you to go do the homework. So it sounds like you got your homework there, Herb. Cool.
Consider it done. Break.
Awesome.
What other questions do you guys have? Because we have been going for a while. We said it was initially going to be like an hour. We're at about an hour and 45. So I don't want to take up everybody's day. We're considering doing this recurring. I don't know if Emma would be able to do it every week, but if she's down for it.
Probably not every week. My husband is so graciously watching the kids and they decided to take a nap right now. So it depends on if it's on Sundays or what days we do it. But I'd like to make it a habit for sure.
Okay. Yeah, so what other questions do you guys have? Chris said that sounds awesome.
Definitely want to say thank both of y'all for your time. You definitely brought great value. It's needed. Ms. Emma, if you do come back every week, that would be great. Salutes to your husband. He's the real MVP. And
Like I said, we have 2 little boys, so yeah, kudos to him. They're probably going to be bouncing off the walls for the next 10 minutes here once they wake up. So
right. But yeah, thank you very much.
And we'll try to bring other people in too, guys. Like, I actually was thinking about bringing Jess Tepe in because her and I started at almost the exact same time, ended up networking with all the same people. And I ended up getting her to be my PML on my first connector deal.
awesome.
So I'm also going to
My
reach
fault.
out to more.
Congratulations on that.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Let's see. Definitely brought great value and action steps. My wife is creating our Bling profile right now. Yeah, Blaine, definitely. Create a good Bling profile. First impressions mean a lot. Cool. Emma, any final thoughts, I guess? We're not getting any questions, so.
I don't think so. I think we've covered a lot of great information. I mean, if you want to just do a short synopsis of everything we talked about, then we can just call it a day and remind everyone we are here. Like, reach out to one of us. We'd love to help you out in any way that we can.
Yep, and I put my calendar in there one last time for y'all. So, in short, create an action plan. One, we gave you guys a ton of tips. We gave you all a ton of different softwares, a ton of different things that you can utilize. Pick one. I don't care what it is. Pick your avatar, pick your tech stack, and just run with it. And get started, because you're not gonna you don't need to upgrade anything. You don't need anything fancy until you get deal flow. Right now, the only main reason I upgraded was because I was starting to get deals sent to me, and I had to start vetting more deals, more borrowers, I had to start looking for more PMLs. I had to get reorganized. I had to bring on a whole nother software developer for the integrator stuff that we're doing. Like, the developer I had doesn't have time. So now we're getting back and we're getting organized, and he's learned the software, so we can kick out 3 proposals right away. Because I had 3 people tell me they would jump on the AI scraper bot that we're doing if they had a proposal, and I'm like, I'm just not going to kick it out to you until I know that we can do it, and until I know that he's ready to do it, because I don't want to overpromise and under deliver. So, and kind of like I said, in short, take everything that we gave you, take all the tools, really just focus on, I would say 3 or 4 for right now. Get your Google, get your calendar. Don't worry about the CRM yet if you're not doing heavy deal flow. Emma talks to a lot of people. CRM makes sense for her.
Yeah.
Play around and stuff that Google offers, like Google Sheets, Docs, Slides. All that stuff is carbon copies of Microsoft.
Yeah.
So if you can do one, you can do the other. If you can do Excel, you can do Sheets. If you can do Word, you can do Docs. So use all those things, use it to collaborate better and just get better organized, because you can't go far. You can't go fast or far until you get organized first. That's the biggest thing. So just like I said, just take what we gave you, do the homework. I'm thinking we'll probably do this every Sunday afternoon, probably at like 3 or 4 Central, and hopefully you guys come back. If you got value, take a screenshot, share it. And what CRM do I recommend? I don't recommend one per se. There's a bunch. I will tell you this though, if you understand Go High Level, you understand all of them for the most part. Go High Level is super simple. There's a bunch of them out. There's a bunch of different versions of Go High Level out there. Open Dispo is built on Go High Level. Astro Blaster is built on Go High Level. Let's see, and Built, which is Mo's new CRM, is also built on Go High Level. So, Built, I think right now is the cheapest option out of the three of those, because I think it's even cheaper than it would be if you were to get your own Go High Level account without anything else added to it. So I would tell you, if you can learn that one, you can learn anything else, because it's super simple. It's just drag and drop editors. It's grab this element, move it here, change the title, change the subtext, do this, make sure, and just add your triggers to your workflows. It's really pretty simple. So yeah, guys, take a screenshot, share it in the group, tell everybody that you got value, and like I said, we'll plan on seeing you guys next Sunday.
Awesome. Yeah. Thank you all for coming. Shoot me a text, give me a call if you need anything, if you need reminders of this conversation.
And y'all can text me too if y'all need the recording. Either shoot me a Facebook message.
Make sure I get it.
I'll make sure you get it. All right, guys. We will catch up with y'all next time.